two Andromeda Strain movies were made. The original 1971 and a miniseries adaptation in 2008. The 1971 version is more faithful to the original book. The Andromeda Strain novel is probably one of the most difficult books to adapt on film because it's a scientific suspense thriller with almost zero action. The action relies on the fears of death. How do you communicate this type of story visually and make a strong impression? Well, Robert Wise and Douglas Trumbull's team came up with a way. This movie is the reason why they were hired to work on Star Trek The Motion Picture. A lot of elements from Andromeda were moved to that movie. Hell starts in Piedmont, New Mexico, where a government satellite crash lands in a small town of 60 plus people. The next day, everyone was found dead. Not just dead, instantly dead. People were found collapsed in places where they were working or doing regular things. For 1971, this is pretty shocking to see. Not only is it dead people, we see dead children, animals, cats and dogs. This unknown contagion has no real boundary. We even see a hanging. Wise also loves to not show the audience on what's happening. The way the virus kills is that it basically dries out your blood. Imagine your blood is changed into red jello powder. Visually, you just see someone fall on the floor. To raise the suspense, we only hear people's horrific deaths. It made you picture something worse. I'm surprised it's worked really good because this movie is over 2 hours long. With the exception of a few moments here and there, Wise is able to hold your interest. He didn't make the same mistakes that 2001 did. The movie has a lot of complicated information to give out. Another idea they did was the use of split screen 24 style. Using all these techniques and elements, Andromeda was one of the few movies out there that used science very accurately. It would show the long procedures, the gritty deaths of experimentation that the characters had to do and go through to fight this biological war. We follow 4 not-so-friendly scientists that were upended from their jobs, basically a gunpoint, to enter the secret base Wildfire, led by Dr. Jeremy Stone, who picked the entire team. The coldest member of them, he'll always follow the procedures to the letter, very emotionally disconnected.
And 30 seconds.
Fight the effect is mostly shock.
Only cares about stopping whatever that this is. Real easy to piss you off.
Stop by your rooms and insert these before taking the elevator.
I have been parboiled, irradiated, and xenon flashed.
I have to. We haven't done anything about the GI tract yet.
But what I liked about him, he knows the way he acts is crap. That's why he picked the other 3, to constantly remind him and argue to keep himself in check. The team surgeon and the guy who interacts with the 2 surviving patients, Dr. Mark Hall, his character is kind of confusing. He's a skilled doctor, is trained so that he doesn't get emotionally connected to the subjects, but is very emotional towards his work and tends to risk his life just to cut a few corners, and they picked him to hold on to the self-destruct cancellation key, just in case the base is breached, a nuke goes off. He decides whether it's the right call or not. You'd think being less emotional, like Stone, would be the more obvious choice, but they say a person who's single is the better choice? I don't really get it. Next up is Dr. Ruth Levitt. She's the audience's POV. She was pulled from her work, didn't want to go, has some personal hang-ups that she didn't want people to know, and is the opposite of Stone. While he does things meticulously, she wants to go right into it.
Let's go directly to the inside. We can assume they put the scoop on the thing to scoop something into it.
Levitt is the one that suffers doing the numbers for the team. She's the more interesting of the group, with her hiding a few of her personal issues. She has epilepsy when seeing the color red flash a certain speed. She also doesn't like sugarcoating, state the facts, give the numbers, let's solve this, hates computers.
Let's repeat your response for our memory cells.
Ragweed pollen.
Last on the list is Dr. Charles Dutton. He's the weakest character, doesn't get much focus. He's the oldest, so he's dealt with a lot of the military over the years, so he's stern whenever anything goes wrong. He also performs the graphic experiments on animals. This is one of the aspects of the film that gives it that extra, wow, they actually showed this. Now, in reality, the animals in the movie aren't being harmed, but they do film mice and monkeys being knocked out by a gas. Even today, these scenes feel bad. It's the one aspect of CGI that got lost. It's like, you know it's fake, so you never really get that extra, wow, we're actually seeing this happen. It's a very minimalistic movie, just enough to get you invested, building up tension. We don't even see the virus till past the midpoint. The characters are thinking up theories on what's happening. Is it an alien invasion, a form of hello that's gone horribly wrong? This movie is not going to be for everyone. To sum it up simply, it's like watching your favorite show's bottle episode. They got strong characters to carry the film, and they were able to give the movie a bit of comedy when we saw some of their dreams. I even liked that they showed imperfections. There were times computers fouled up that were not dramatic moments only, as well as actors messing up their lines. I will agree the movie did go overboard in explaining things, which bogged it down. You could easily lose 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes they would explain things for too long or repeat themselves. The decontamination procedure to get into wildfire went on for a long time. And the dumbest moment, when they discussed how the base works. It has 5 levels. Each level is more cleaner than the other. The patient and virus are stored at the lowest level. How the base self-destruct works. Hall hears all this, and he thinks his red key is what arms the bomb.
I've just inserted the key in the main station that arms the mechanism. You're the only one who can disarm the mechanism.
You can still cancel self-destruct by inserting your red key in a substation.
You really expect me to fire the thing?
All you can do is stop it.
There's other bits here and there that could be trimmed out, like they showed mechanical arms removing the dead mouse and monkey for tests. Didn't need to see that bit for that long. What's funny, the way the 2000 miniseries tried to fix this was to make more characters. It deviates from the story so much, and it didn't even solve the boring problem. It's why I don't like it. The 71 movie changed things too, but nowhere near what that one did. Andromeda works from its simplicity. A modern equivalent today would be the Chernobyl miniseries. If you cut out most of the power plant footage and solely work with the cast and the aftermath, it'd be very similar to Andromeda strain. Now, what exactly is Andromeda? It's a growing crystallized virus that can mutate from almost all sources of energy or chemical reactions. If you're thinking about an episode from Star Trek: The Next Generation, yeah, they basically copied the idea from here. How it got on the military satellite, it wasn't directly confirmed, but it's basically an experiment with alien material. For the ending, some of it felt like a cop-out. The one thing they worried about is Andromeda mutates. If a nuke would go off, it would cause 1,000 mutations. But conveniently, the current mutation it went into was a harmless stage. It couldn't infect humans anymore. All it did was eat plastics. So as long as it didn't mutate again, we're safe. It cheapened the ending. Yes, Hall saves the day by turning off the nuke when it escapes containment, but they don't actually need to save lives. Just seed some clouds with alkaline and acidic chemicals to dissolve it. A little too convenient for me, TNG handled this better in another episode with that organism eating the ship's warp core. They also didn't say that the Andromeda keeps mutating even while inside people or not. So we don't know if you got it in the virus mutation stage, you're SOL. They just ignore that and the 2 days that passed moving the virus through the area. It's not for everyone. Compared to movies today, it's very slow. It's between 2001 and Star Trek: The Motion Picture. If you really like the latter, especially the theatrical version of TMP, you'd probably like this. If you wonder how a scientifically accurate story would work as a movie, this is one to try out. Thanks for checking out the video. Subscribe if you want to see more from me, and if you remember a movie or a show that's long been forgotten, good or bad, leave it as a suggestion below. I'm always on the lookout for obscured stuff.